Before America's overly stereotypical love for football came into play, it was baseball that was America's obsession. The game started out as just a local one, but during and after the Civil War, the rules were modified for universal understanding. With these common rules in place, the major leagues were born 11 years after the end of the Civil War. In this video, I will do my best to explain the grand slam that is the history of the MLB. Although there are many different possible dates or people, the sport of baseball is believed to have started as a combination of similar sports that over time evolved into modern baseball. The game picked up popularity in the time during and after the Civil War, and by the end of the 1860s, it was unrivaled by any other sport. The NABBP, or the National Association of Baseball Players, was established as an amateur league and already had over 400 local teams in 1867, only 2 years following the end of the Civil War. A gap between the professional teams and the amateur ones soon arose and caused the NABBP to fracture in 1871 into an amateur league and the National Association, which was a league for professional players. The National Association went on to become the National League in 1876. The first National League game took place on April 22, 1876, which is believed to be the start of the MLB. In the early days, National League was only rivaled by a couple leagues that sprang up here and there, but the only real competition came when the American Association formed in 1882. The two leagues in the US at the time, the National League and the American Association, took a swing at peace, merging in 1892. But after 4 teams were dropped, a new league wanted change, splintering off in 1901, which became the American League. The greatest feud between the leagues was the reverse clause. This was the restriction on free movement of players between teams or clubs. This conflict was the source of many broken contracts and legal troubles. You see, depending on which league was doing better in the season, players would ditch their teams to join the superior team in the opposite league. In 1902, the issue was settled with contracts to a specific team becoming required to play. After the chaos of the National League and American League contract war, things got quiet. Very quiet. So quiet, in fact, that from 1900 to 1919, it was known as the dead ball era. Most games were low-scoring ones, and the quality of baseball had struck out. Literally. Even the baseballs themselves were of low quality, because the cost of repairing a baseball was so high, sitting at $3 or $52 in today's money. They were kept in use until they fell apart. All foul and rare home run balls caught by fans were required to be thrown back. Funnily enough, what put baseball back on the field was a scandal. The Black Sox scandal took place during the 1919 World Series and had the Black Sox intentionally lose in exchange for money. During the 20s, a Yankee by the name of Babe Ruth gained just a little bit of popularity by hitting 60 home runs in a single season. Baseball's popularity tanked once more with the start of the Great Depression and throughout World War II, with the flood of able-bodied men going off to fight. After the war, in 1947, a Dodger by the name of Jackie Robinson gained just a little bit of notoriety by becoming the first black baseball player in the major leagues. This was huge for the MLB's popularity due to Robinson and other black players who brought a new audience who had previously only followed black leagues. As of 1952, St. Louis was the westernmost city hosting a major league team. 5 teams moved in the 1950s, the most notable being the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, moving to San Francisco and Los Angeles, respectively. Until 1977, many teams relocated or rebranded, with new teams only being added again in the 1990s and again in 2005. Since the 90s, only minor events in the MLB have really only occurred. The MLB strike in 1994 to 1995, the National League and the American League merging into a single legal entity in 2000, the Houston Astros scandal in the 2017 World Series, and, most notable of all, the Texas Rangers gaining their first World Series title in 2023.